Hey guys! Okay, so I guess I'll just wait for more people to come into the room on this lovely Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on 11/11. Hey Two Spirit, how's it going? My buddy Simon. So yeah, today I kind of just wanted to talk a little bit about the really fun anniversary weekend last weekend. Got a pile of decks here, had some trippy experiences, and I thought it would be really fun to kind of share that during this live event. So yeah, let's see. Well, I guess we'll start with anniversary weekend first. So last weekend was the dude and I's 11-year anniversary, and he did a surprise road trip to Tombstone, Arizona. And Tombstone's just like this little tiny literal ghost town. And they've kept it pretty original. You know, I mean, you could walk across the whole town in maybe like 5 minutes, if that. But it's known for being extremely haunted because of all the things that, you know, went down. It has the OK Corral, you know, and it has, you know, where all these like famous gunfighters and sheriffs and things like that. So let's see, my boyfriend, knowing that I love like paranormal stuff, got me the like their top ghost tour package or whatever. So we stayed in Tombstone, like not too far, like just outside of Tombstone, which by the way was like a really far drive. It was like 400 and some miles from our house, which is really cool. I mean, I love Arizona desert. I love the desert. Like it was nighttime, and so like the first hour of the tour. Oh wow. So yeah, so for the first part of the tour, they just kind of went over like the history of the town and how some of the history may have been skewed in like movies and things like that. You know, they're talking about like Doc Holliday and all of that, and they said, you know, and sometimes to like really like make things more interesting or church things up, you know, people may have told stories a little bit differently, and they're like, you know, this is actual like factual stuff, you know, and this stuff actually happened over here, and this wasn't as bad as people thought, and you know, and some guy wasn't thrown out a window, he was fired and like told to leave like later. You know, it was like stuff like that. So it was really interesting to hear some of that history. It was a mining town, so you know, there was all that cool stuff. And then the second hour was like the ghost tour stuff. And so they gave everybody, like I had an EMF detector. My boyfriend got, it's like a temperature gun. Like he has one of those for his tint business, so that customers can see, you know, how well the tint works. You know, this is with tint, the temperature of your floor, this is without tint. So it's the same kind of little temperature gun. And he, like my boyfriend had that one, and then I had the little EMF detector. Plus on my cell phone I have a little app where, you know, if spirits can manipulate energy, it spits out words. Well, I wasn't quite sure how accurate that, it's because it's an app, you know, on my phone, how accurate that might be. So we're going around the town, and my phone app is spitting out stuff that's relevant to what's going on, and to the point where even my boyfriend, who's Mr. Skeptic, is like, that's interesting. You know, because they had a lot of like Chinese immigrants back in the day, and we're passing one of the like restaurants that was like called the Can restaurant, and all of a sudden it says Chinese, and then it's like, are you foreigner? And I'm like, and then it's like noodle, and I'm like, oh well, I love noodles. You know, and so that was like really cool. And then there was a tourist last year from Georgia who for whatever reason drove all the way from Georgia to Tombstone, Arizona, after hours, like broke the window in one of the shops hung rope and like hung himself like right inside the shop, and they don't know why. They didn't know this guy. And so when we passed that shop, the app on my phone says Georgia, and then he asks like where I'm from, and he says he was sad, and I was like, whoa, like this is really pertinent stuff. And then it said 5th Street. We were literally 10 steps from 5th Street. We were walking towards like 5th Street, and then it says Honda. And my boyfriend drives a Honda. We were walking to the car on 5th Street. And I'm like, okay, okay. And then we go to the old courthouse where the old gallows are. And it was obviously really eerie over by gallows, like no duh. And then there's like the original house of the, well, I guess the dude that pulls the trap door, like where he used to stay on the courthouse grounds. And I'm like a little like spooked out because it's a little creepy over there, and it's like getting really cold, and I'm like, wow, and then all of a sudden my phone says scary. It says I'm scared too. So yeah, so that was interesting. And then the people that were giving the tour, which were just these like laid back, a couple of just laid back country boys, and one of them, who's telling my boyfriend where to point the temperature gun, and he's like, point it at the top of the courthouse. And so my boyfriend points at the top of the courthouse. Like the temperature outside was like, it was like 66 degrees. Top of the courthouse on this, it's like a little brick chimney, I guess. It was 18 degrees. But there was a, hey, no problem. Glad to see you're here. Laughter in the woods. So next to the, like, but there's like something that's brick, like right next to that chimney that was like, whatever, 60 degrees, which makes sense because it was 66 outside. So it makes sense that it would be a little colder up top. But when something is like 18 degrees and the rest of the temperature is 66, and there was spots like that all over where it would fluctuate like 18 to 60 degrees, 18 to 60 degrees. And at some point it was like -5 degrees on like the tops of some of these things that are really only like 10 feet up in the air, like, and my boyfriend's like, that's really interesting. We goes, why the big temperature shift? And it's like something that would be right next to it would be the temperature you would think it should be, but then right here it's like -2, and you're like, and so the tour guides, what they were saying, good morning, Lisa. What the tour guides were saying was, they believed in portals, and they believed that the reason their town is so touristy, and that they, and ghost hunters love coming to their town. They said, we have ghost hunters from like all the TV shows love to come to the Birdcage, which is their theater, like their original brothel. Queen Osset, what's up? And they said they think because of the portals in their town is why they have so much spirit activity. It's why there's like so many curious people love to go to their town. And I truly believe in portals because like I truly believe that there is one in my closet, which I will get to that story in just a moment. So yeah, so we had some fun in Tombstone. By the way, the town shuts down at like 6 or 7, and then there's like 2 bars that stay open, and the kitchen closes at 8, but the bars stay open till like 12. So basically the only thing there is to do in the town is drink, and I'm like, well, I'm hungry. I don't want to drink. I mean, I had a drink because you have to have a drink, like, you're in Tombstone, like an old style saloon, like, come on. So yeah, I just had a gin and tonic. Creative Coffee, what's up? Oh, Rebel Child, what's up? What's up? So yeah, let's see. And then after that, we went into the town of Bisbee, which it's so weird because it's like you're going around, through the desert, and then you're on a mountain, and you're like going do, and all of a sudden, like in the view, this like town that looks like it's straight out of like, well, town's like originally 1800. It looks like an 1800s town, just bam, in the middle of the desert. Like, you round this mountain and it's just like, is that a clock tower? Like, what the deuce? So yeah, we had a lot of fun in Bisbee. It was an old mining town for copper, which I got a big hunk of copper for like $3. It was really cool. Oh, thank you. This is Amazonite, by the way. And yeah, and actually the town of Tombstone, that was a silver mining town. Oh, sorry, my wind chime going off. And so we did get to go down into the mines, the like silver mines, which was really cool. And it does have the original like 1800 structure in there, but they said that they have some surveyors that come down every year to make sure that the old 1800s wood is still structurally sound so that they can continue to have tours down there. But it's not like, nothing is up to like safety codes really. You know, they said if you wander off on your own, like, they're not going to come looking for you. Yeah, it was just so cool. Caught a lot of orbs. You know, they told us to take a lot of pictures. And I caught a lot of orbs. I don't know how much of that was actually like dust, but you know, it seems cool anyway. Let's see. Yeah, and then we went to Bisbee, and after all the like miners and all that stuff had moved out, these like hippies have moved in, and like really like creative people and artists and things like that. So it's turned into this like really super eclectic, quirky hippie town. Oh, dude, for real. Like, yeah. I had my cards on me. I should have totally just been like, hey, you guys, like, could I just do a quick reading while I'm down here? That would have been awesome. But yeah, they said, okay, so actually, I know I'm switching back and forth, but it was just like so much excitement. I'm like, oh, I'm trying to like spit it all out. Okay, so if we go back to the town of Tombstone, when we were down in that silver mine, the humidity outside was like, I don't know, like 30% humidity, which is pretty dry. But inside that mine was 0.01% humidity. So they said if anything died down there, it's basically, it becomes mummified. And they said, so unfortunately there were miners that never made it out, and there are parts of the mine that, you know, that particular tour guide who is a miner, he says he doesn't go to. He's like so afraid of like running into like a mummified arm sticking out of a wall or something like that. And he was like, yeah, he says there are mummified remains down here. He says we have come into, you know, come into a couple of them, ran into a couple of them. There is a old, yeah, pretty freaky. There is a old, like, that it used to be sea level down there. And so there's all these like old like seashells and stuff, you know, where the ocean used to be. And you can see the corrosion of, well, like where the water used to be, you know, just is kind of that bluish kind of corrosion. And then there was, and the tour guide like pointed to one of the ground and on the wall, and he says, does anybody know what that is? And I was like, yeah, maybe the arm just wants to wave hello. And he asks, what do you guys think that is? And I'm like, is that chrysocolla? And he says, yep. He says, this used to be the bottom of the ocean, and this, he goes, I mean, a lot of it's been mined out, but yeah, this was all chrysocolla. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, can we touch this stuff? And he was like, yeah, I don't care what you touch. I mean, it's just rocks. So I like got to like touch all the chrysocolla. There was a lot of calcite down there I got to touch, you know, and we got to just, the energy coming off the walls. There was big piles of silver still down there. Yeah, it was, and he told us, you know, he showed us like where, yeah, the bottom of the ocean. That was pretty freaky. I was standing at the bottom of the ocean. He showed us where these black veins were, and he says, like, can you feel, like, he says, feel with your hands how much colder the vein is than the surrounding rock. And we felt it, and he says that's because it's silver. He says that's silver in its natural form, is it's black. He says now we have a lot of volcanic rock in our area. He says so the difference between Yeah, I know. He says the difference between silver and volcanic rock is that silver weighs so much more. He says, if you had, a piece of volcanic rock like this and a piece of silver, this would probably weigh a couple of ounces where this might weigh a pound. And he says, and that's basically how you tell the difference. And he says, and back then there wasn't lighting for these miners. He says they were given 4 candles. Each candle burns for 2 hours, and they would have 10-hour shifts. So he says for a couple hours of their day, they're in total darkness. So they had to learn how to feel with their hands what was colder than the rest of the rock. Oh wow, you have whale fossils. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, he says, yeah, they would have to just kind of feel around. And he says, and if you were working alone, that'd be okay. He says there was a bell that would be sounded really loudly, and that would be when you just like drop your stuff and like you take off, because they're going to be blowing some dynamite, so you got to get out of there as fast as possible. He goes, and there were guys that, like, if you're like hitting the hammer against a wooden or a metal stake all day, he says your ears are ringing, and so maybe sometimes you don't always hear the ring. And he says that's how people got trapped down there. And he says if you're working in partners, which he says he would have never done back in the 1800s. Okay, so there's this metal spike, and somebody else has the hammer, and if you're like got a little, like a candle, the candle is like this big, they're just like these little tiny wax candles, and he says, and it's not putting off much light, we got one guy that's just kind of blindly swinging down with like a hammer and another guy like holding the thing. He says, guys lost their hands, and if you lose your hand, you're basically out of work, because nobody wants to hire a one-armed or a one-hand anybody back then. And they did have problems with the Apache Indians, like surrounding the area, but the Apache Indians would never mess with the miners, because although they were known as one of the most hostile Indian tribes in the area, they were very spiritual, and so they believed that anybody yeah, so when they would see these miners come out of the ground, they thought that they were coming out of like hell, basically, that they were like with all these demons, and like anybody who would, go in, and hang out with demons all day and come out, like they just didn't want any of that like juju, like and so the Apache Indians would just like, if they saw some guy coming out of the mine, or they recognized one of the miners, like they just turned their horse the other way, like they didn't want to even mess with those guys, because they thought that there was just so much like bad evil juju coming off of them. They just didn't want anything to do with them. However, they said if you were a cowboy, it was a little bit different story. New Age Lunatic, hello. Yeah, they said if you were a cowboy, however, yeah, you were done for. Like they hated you. I mean, pretty much, they said left other people alone, but yeah, they really hated the cowboys, and they really feared the miners. So yeah, it was really interesting, and yeah, and then there was really awesome stuff. Obviously, I took like almost 400 pictures, I think, from our like 2.5-day trip. And I took tons of pictures in Bisbee. Actually, after I do my live chat today, I'm going to be uploading those pictures to my laptop and putting them in Lightroom, kind of fixing them up a little bit. And then I'm going to be like making an album of them and putting them on Facebook. So, if you guys want to come check them out, those of you that are my Facebook buddies. So yeah, let's see, where else did we go? Oh, we went to the Colossal Caves. So on the way back, almost like halfway through, once we were out of Arizona, we stopped at the Colossal Caves. And that's like a calcite mine, I guess. It's not really a mine, because they didn't do much mining in there. It was more for like somebody wanted to bring like business into the town, so this guy was like, hey, he would just have these tours, and he would tell people just like, hey, whatever you want to take out of here, take out of here. So there's like all this kind of like rock vandalism and stuff all over, but they don't want anybody touching anything now, because there's a lot of those like stalactites, which were just so awesome. It was like 100-foot like stalactites like coming out of like, well, I guess the ceiling because I'm underground. And there's some that are like coming up, you know, and it's just like ancient drips, you know. And it's old calcite, and basically they said if you touch it, your hand oils and stuff over time, they showed us that protective coating comes off and you can see the calcite underneath. However, they said if that ever turns into like a droopy, watery place again, you know, maybe 1,000 years from now, like that stalactite is done for, you know, it can't reform into a stalactite. It's just kind of like stuck. So they didn't want anybody touching the rocks. Oh, what tarot deck am I using this month? Actually, it's right next to me. The Wildwood Tarot. So, I've just been really called to be working with that this month, or actually even this week, just in general. So yeah, so we went to the Colossal Caves, and that was cool. And okay. So before, because I have literally like stack of decks like here to like, well, actually it's more than that, but I have a stack of decks to share with you guys for the month of November. But before we get to that, I wanted to talk about, as the title says, Trippy experience, Wokie Hole Caves. Whoa. Well, it is that has been on my wish list, is to go to the UK someday. Like I was thinking of going this summer, but I don't know. I think I would have to save a little bit more money because like flying to the UK is expensive. So maybe not this summer, but next summer. I mean, because I have summers off as a teacher, so that is my goal, to go out to the UK, because I do have some friends that are out there in London. So. Oh, and Surrey and all that stuff. So yeah, that's my goal one day. And one day when I finally go out to the UK, I would love to do just like a meetup. I think that would just be so cool. Just like, hey, like any of my peeps, you know, from the community who are out there, you know, that would just be, I would think, be so awesome to be able to see you guys all in person. I think that would be great. Okay, so freaky experience. This was early yesterday morning. So this was like at just before 4 a.m. So it was like 3:45 maybe. I'm having these nightmares, right? And in my nightmare, like I'll describe the nightmare first because it's relevant to when I wake up. So I'm having this nightmare. I mean, there was a bunch of other like stuff that I just know was kind of freaky going on, but I can't remember that part of my dream. I'm in my house later on. I'm in my house in my dream, but my dream is slanted. You know, it's like if I tilted my cell phone, you know, it's like slanted. So it's like I'm not walking properly. It's, I guess, like, you know, in movies, like when they freak it out, they like tilt the camera. That's kind of how the dream looked. And my boyfriend, it's kind of dark in there. I mean, the lights are sort of on, but it's really dim in my dream. And my boyfriend's standing in the middle of the dining room, but he looks really serious. And he's holding a sack of potatoes. Like, I don't even know what that means. So he was holding a sack of potatoes, and he's looking very sternly at me. And I think we said something, but I wasn't sure. And our friend that's been staying with us, well, I guess he's like our roommate. He's in the kitchen too, but he's like eating or something like that. And so I go upstairs to like get ready for bed, and I notice my boyfriend's in the bathroom brushing his teeth. And I was like, oh, I thought you were downstairs. I'm so glad you dig my stories. Oh, Bluebell Faye, what's up? And he's like, oh no, I'm up here brushing my teeth. And all of a sudden in my dream, I was like, uh-oh. I was like, something's downstairs that shouldn't be here. And so in my dream, I race downstairs and I'm looking all around, and you know, our buddy is helping me look for this thing that's there that I know is not my boyfriend, but is pretending to be my boyfriend. I see the sack of potatoes on the ground, and all of a sudden it like crawls out of a box. Like, we have a couple of these boxes that are meant for our cat because he likes to be in boxes. So we have like these different size boxes. So I guess it kind of looks like we have, like we're moving, but we're not. It's for Wally. Our little Puma. They're his Puma boxes. So anyway, it's this small box that a human being cannot fit in, but whatever's trying to pretend to be my boyfriend is crawling out of this box. And a whole person cannot fit in that box. So I don't know how it's coming out of this box. And it stands up. And he's standing next to this sack of potatoes. Like, I have no idea what a sack of potatoes means in my dreams. And he starts walking towards me, but then his eyes start glowing red, and I get really unnerved, and the room is, like, in my dream, really cold, and it's getting darker, and I decide I don't want to be scared, although I'm scared, shitless. And so he splits, like, it's all of a sudden not him anymore. It's now a dark figure, and it splits into several dark figures, and the dark figures are moving about the room. That's why I said, okay, yeah, that was a nightmare. And so then I'm, like, kind of backing away because it seems like it's too much for me. It's too big for me, and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get rid of them. And my friend, who normally that kind of stuff would scare the bejesus out of him, like, he's really scared of that stuff. He's the one in my dream that pushes me towards them, and I'm like, he's like, you just got to get rid of them. And I was like, yeah, I do. And so even though my heart's pounding, even though my legs are shaking, I'm like, I try to look tough, and I try to be tough, and I start going towards them, and I start trying to attack them with my hands, and I start trying to, like, shine light at them. Like, there's light coming from, like, my chest, and it's like, and I start trying to shine light. And all of a sudden, because I feel like they're coming in on my personal space, and it's like, when you get really creeped out, like, you feel like there's creepy all over you. I start calling in, when I'm really creeped out like that, I start calling for Jesus, Shiva, and Ganesha. Like, I have to call those three. Like, that's my trio that I always call on when something feels like too much for me. Well, I'm calling for them in my dream or my nightmare. And it's, the things are kind of backing away. I mean, they're giving me space, but they're not leaving. And all of a sudden, I get this thing in my head that says, you need to be Dr. Wang. Dr. Wang is my acupuncturist, but she's also a good friend of mine, and I consider her like my mom. And she deals with that stuff all the time. Like, that is her realm. So I imagine I'm her, and I look down, I am her. Like, I've become her. And I'm like, just standing my ground and stomping my feet and whooshing at them. And I'm like fighting these things, and I wake up. And I have one of those projector clocks. I have a Hello Kitty projector clock. And I look, it's like 3:45 a.m. And my cat has been, or Wally, sorry, he's not a cat, he's Puma. My Puma has been cuddling with me, but I can tell he's having, like, a little bit of a nightmare too. And then he wakes up, and we're looking around the room, and the room feels, like, really still. And I don't know if you guys can hear while I'm making this video that ohms sound. Like, I'll kind of be quiet so you guys can hear. Okay, well, it stopped ohming, but there's ohms in the background, and they play in the master closet, because that's where we have a lot of that's where we have a portal and a lot of activity. So the ohms had stopped playing, which happens every once in a while. They pause the ohms. They don't turn it off, but the ohms pause, and it just flashes. So the ohms were paused. I just come out of this crazy nightmare. My cat's having a nightmare, and I'm like, and I'm looking around the room, and it feels like there's stuff in the room. Like, when you feel like you're not alone. Of course, my boyfriend's, like, snoring next to me. He's always oblivious to all this stuff. He never sees any of it. And my bedroom was getting really cold. I start pulling the blankets up, and I feel, like, uncomfortable. Like I want to run and scream from my bedroom. Like, I want to run so fast, and but I don't. And I was like, okay, how can I make this stuff go away? Because I know there's stuff in my room. So in my mind, mentally, I'm calling, like, Jesus, Shiva, Ganesha, like, please clear my room. Archangel Michael, like, anybody, please clear the room. And it doesn't seem like it's doing much until I imagine, okay, I'm going to imagine I'm a big ball of light, and that I'm imagining it's daytime in my bedroom. I'm imagining the daytime. I'm imagining light kind of like how it is. Sweet Susie, what's up? I'm imagining it's really light in the room. I'm imagining all my guides are in the room and that there's a disco ball hanging from the ceiling. And I just imagine like the craziest dance party ever. And like I imagine my stuffed animals are alive. And I imagine that they're having a dance party too. Like all my Hello Kitties and all my little like teddy bears and Floppy Horse and everybody. And I imagine it's this crazy like silly dance party. I'm even listening to music in my head of like a dance party. All of a sudden the room does start feeling lighter and it feels like it lifts, and then around 4:15-ish a.m. The room feels better and my cat stops staring at the closet, and it is almost freaky when I boot a ghost. And my cat goes back to sleep, and then I go back to sleep. So then yesterday, later on, it was a really odd day yesterday. I mostly stayed home because my boyfriend was wanted me to wait for the mail people. They were supposed to be dropping off a box of film for his job, and I keep seeing 1111 everywhere, to the point where it was getting ridiculous. Like the update for my phone was like 11.11, then and today is 1111. There's 111 views on one of my videos. It was like yes, I totally went back to sleep. But yeah, yesterday it was like so ridiculous of 1111. I kept seeing the image of Ganesha everywhere. I watched Simon's video. He did a VR to me from my my bedtime ritual video that I did, and I saw there was Ganesha in his room, and then I watched a couple other videos and there was like Ganesha in the background and like their videos, and to the point where it's like so ridiculous. It was like 1111 in my face and Ganesha in my face. Like a dense person could tell that something was up yesterday. And then it seemed like this was really weird, but like then my subscribers on my YouTube channel, they start like every few hours there's like more subscribers happening. Like usually I get like maybe a subscriber or two a day. I literally got almost 30 subscribers yesterday. I was like, whoa. I mean, not that that's a bad thing. I'm just like, what's going on? And then I was called to add another reading type to my Etsy shop, which is to do like more mediumship type readings. So I added a mediumship type reading to my Etsy shop, and like that found it like I had to do it. Like something wouldn't let me not do it. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I don't know. It was just really interesting. And all the cards I was pulling for myself, I was like what's going on with my Kittens, Weights, and Tarot business? Like, and I keep getting like the 7 of Pentacles, and then like ones, Ace of Swords, like everything is starting and it's blooming, and I'm like, what? Does this have anything to do with my crazy nightmare? So I don't know. I just thought I would share that with you guys because it was I don't know what was going on yesterday. Definitely a day of messages, yes. Okay, so I know a lot of people wanted to see some decks. My buddy is working in my altar space right now. He's put some holes in the walls, so he's fixing those holes that are in the walls, and the can lights that he put in aren't quite locked in yet. They're kind of dangling from the ceiling, so he's got to lock those in. So I cannot go in my altar space, which is why I'm not filming in there, but I wanted to kind of like show you guys like all my decks, and we're gonna like pull out some like November type decks. But I just quickly grabbed like ones that I felt were kind of November-y and then brought them in here. That's what I was kind of feeling like Laughter in the Woods. I was like, was this some sort of test? And what's weird is every once in a while I get those kinds of nightmares or dreams or whatever you want to call them, where they're really freaky, and I start calling on my guides and I start fighting these things in my dreams or my nightmares. And my boyfriend, once in a while, he'll wake up because he hears me in my dreams, and he was like, there was a couple of times where he said, I was mumbling something and then I was shouting something, and he says, and it sounded like you were calling on your angels or guides. He says, you were saying some people's names, and he goes, because it sounded like you were having a nightmare, but then it sounded like you had it handled, so I just let you go. I was like, thanks. A couple other times he says it sounded like I was talking in tongues or a language he didn't understand. He says, and I was like being kind of loud about it. So yeah, I don't know. It's I think it's just so interesting that, you know, what I practice here, you know, the deities and the guides and the, you know, that I work with here, that I would be calling on them in my dreams, you know. Yeah, I don't know. That's so interesting. I always feel like every once in a while I have to, like, I'm being tested. Like, how am I gonna back down, or am I gonna fight something? And I don't know. And maybe that's what makes me less scared in waking life, you know, when I'm dealing with spirit energy. And sometimes it's things that actually, you know, I don't want to freak people out, but some things that I see are not the most pleasant. But I don't give them the time of day, really. You know, I don't give in to them. I don't really acknowledge them. You know, it's like, I'm not going to play your game, you know. And I think it's easier for me to do that here after having such, like, terrifying nightmares. It's like, if I can do it in my nightmare, I can do it when I'm awake. So I don't know. I don't know if it's connected. I don't know if it's a test. All I know is what I know. Or what does Bill and Ted say? Only whatever true knowledge is knowing that you know nothing. Okay, so, one thing I did buy from Bisbee when I was in Bisbee, Arizona. Yeah, sometimes there's like some spiritual rescue work that you're like, it doesn't feel very good, but you know you got to do it. So, like I said, when I was in the mine, I felt like I was at the bottom of the ocean. Well, it was the bottom of the ocean at one point. Well, they have mined some of that chrysocolla. This is a piece of that chrysocolla. I got a piece. I did not take this from the mine myself, as that is illegal, punishable by prison time. But this was like recently mined. So yeah, chrysocolla and hemimorphite and amazonite, those are like my three biggies, and I know they're all basically the same color, but yeah, it feels really good. Chrysocolla is pretty brittle, so I can't handle this like too much. I'm afraid like there's been like little flakes like breaking off. But I've been keeping this on my bedside, so yeah. All right, Laughter in the Woods, I'm so glad you stopped by. Thank you so much. So yeah, this is sitting on my Hermetic Tarot, which I just got in the Moonbox. The Moonbox subscription. Like I'm subscribed to that. And they gave you a freaking tarot deck like in the box this month, and I was like so yeah, there you go. Actually, when I'm all finished with my live chat today, I'll probably do like a reading from my chrysocolla. See what we get from it. I love to do crystal readings, so I will put that aside for then. Okay. Just get myself readjusted. Okay. Decks, y'all. Lots of decks, like I said in the title. And I will not disappoint. Hopefully not. So like I said, I'm working with the Wildwood Tarot. Every once in a while, this like is just like, time to work with me. I don't know if you guys get that with your decks, where it seems like the decks, I usually keep a few decks by my bedside, but all my decks are not in my bedroom with me. They're, you know, in my altar space, in the office / my creativity room. And I'll just like get a burst of inspiration of like, oh, I gotta work with that deck, you know, and then I have to dig that deck out. And this is one of those decks. So if you guys don't already know, this is the lovely backing of the cards. Just maybe gonna go through some of these for you. But yeah, I've been feeling very like greens and earthy, and it was fun yesterday because I basically almost dressed in all green. It was like green stones, green malachite earrings. Oh, I will have to do that, join Into the Woods. Yeah, looking on Instagram, it's like everybody's like on the Wildwood train, and I'm like, okay. For whatever reason, I guess we're all just kind of feeling it this month. But yeah, this deck talks to me. Okay, there's a place in San Diego called OB, Ocean Beach, and it's where our weird hippies like the OG San Diego hippies, Patrick Fogarty's, huh? Yeah, so okay, so there's these weird hippie people that live in OB, and this deck feels like those weird hippie people that you would just like randomly walk up to and they just like start like dropping knowledge on you, just like, you know, and they're like, what, like total hippie way. Like, I'm talking, these are real hippies, like real hippies from the 60s and 70s. Like, these are real hippies, y'all. But yeah, the motto of Ocean Beach in San Diego is keep OB weird. Because there was a time where they wanted to develop OB and make it more of a hipster town and not a hippie town, you know, where they wanted to bring in some more of the young crowd, put in like breweries and things like that. And like the old hippies were like not having it. They're like, we like our weird town, we like our weird eclectic shops. They got like witch shops, they got smoke shops, they have like there's a oh, why can't I think of the name, a hostel there. They have like a weird, you know, grocery store. They have like old record stores there. Yeah, so yeah, they like the hippies rose up and they fought to keep OB weird. They were like, you are not putting new stuff in our town. They were like, you know. So if you guys ever have a chance to visit San Diego, I highly recommend Ocean Beach. It has a really nice pier though too. Okay, so that's the Wildwood Tarot that I have been working with, and just looking at time right now. Oh, what time is it? Okay, we have 15, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And I saw on somebody's channel yesterday where they said it would be really fun if like everybody did, dude, go to Ocean Beach. If everybody did like just a 1-minute meditation or whatever type of meditation at 11:11 a.m. or 11:11 p.m. depending on where you are at. Hold on, let me go back and look at that comment. Oh wow, cool. Oh, Kelly from The Truth and Story, she's like the bomb diggity. But yeah, since today is 11/11 here in the United States, it is Veterans Day, although, you know, I give all my love and support to veterans all over the world, no matter what country they are from. I don't know, I won't get into that, but you know, a lot of my family, they're veterans of foreign wars, and a lot of there's a few of my students that are going to be going into the military, and sometimes some people go in as choice, and for some people, like my dad, back when he was a teenager and he had joined the Army back in 1959, he said it's because he had no other choice. So I sometimes feel like it's kind of sad when it's like there are no other options for you, and so some people just, you know, join the military. So I give a lot of love to everybody that's in the military. You know, as I may not always agree with what they have our military do, but there's not a lot military can say because they are owned by the government. So anyway, on that, we'll push that aside. I'm sorry, I missed somebody's comments. I'm gonna go back and take a look-see. Oh, Valerie Love. I probably have seen her stuff. I forget everybody's channel names, but I do have like such a huge, like, I am subscribed to like so many different channels, and I try to go back and like, you know, see some channels that I haven't seen in a long time, so I probably have her subscribed. But yeah, like they said, since today is 11/11, like if you meditate at 11/11, it would just be like that massive like 11/11, like ha 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 ha. So I don't know. I mean, if this live chat's still going until 11/11, like, you know, maybe if it's the end of the chat, we could just like all do a little 1 minute or whatever. I think that would be fun. Okay, so let me put my wildwood away. And actually, every time I think of the name, the wildwood, it makes me laugh because, oops, my carpet's all nasty here. There was a Christmas concert that a group I was in did, and you know, you guys know that I sing opera, and I was one of the featured soloists at Spreckles Theater. If you know San Diego, or maybe you want to Google it, Spreckles Theater. Spreckles was a huge like millionaire back in the day, and he owned a bunch of things, and one of them was a theater that was like where the, you know, well-to-do came to watch. You know, a lot of famous people have performed at that theater back in the day, and so that was like really cool. And I got to sign my name on the wall, which is below stage, with like some of the greats, like, oh my gosh, like even Alice Cooper was down there and signed his name. I think I signed my name next to Alice Cooper, but yeah, there's tons of names that date back all the way to the 20s. Have basically like graffitied that wall, that have like signed their name on that wall. But I sang the Wildwood. And so I can hear myself singing that song every time I bust out the Wildwood Tarot. So, so just a little side note, FYI. Okay, sorry, there is this stuff that got all over. It's like all, ugh. I don't know what is on my carpet. Okay, so the Hermetic Tarot, I got that as part of my moon box, and it was something I had been looking at, but I wasn't quite sure if it was something that I wanted. However, I worked with it like a madwoman yesterday, and we are now homies. Let me just pull these out. It's getting warm in here. Yeah, so it's black and white, and these are the backs, and it's full of so much symbolism. Like they said, like there's Hebrew, you know, letters and words in here. There's Kabbalistic things in here. There's astrological symbols. There's obviously the tarot. It's great. I mean, I'm not too familiar with some of the other types of symbolism, but just like looking at the images and like how people are grasping things and like all that's going on in there, oh my gosh, it's like a candy land for my intuition. And normally I'm not like a black and white, that kind of person, but yeah, this is pretty cool. Let's see if I can actually focus. I guess this doesn't focus when I'm doing a live chat. But yeah, so this has been pretty awesome. So I'm glad that I received this from the moon box. Okay, let's go into some other stuff and keeping track of time for you guys. Oh, by the way, so sweet. Yeah, it's really layered, like ridiculous. Like there's probably stuff in there that I don't know of, and you know, that I'm just missing because, you know, I'm just not familiar with it. But I want to learn more, and you know, and things like that. And I realize I'm like making all kinds of like sparklies behind me. Okay, actually, there was a really like big gift my boyfriend gave for me for my anniversary, and it was my Apple Watch. He was like, I know it's something that you would never buy for yourself, but yeah, I like it because, you know, I'm like a huge fitness person, obviously, you know, kittens, weights, and tarot. That, you know, it tracks, like it dings you when it's like, hey, you've sat on your butt too long, you need to go stand and walk around for a minute. Like that's pretty cool. It tells like your steps, flights of stairs. I give myself a calorie goal that, you know, I want to burn a certain amount of calories. Yeah, he says it was a little more than he was willing to spend. He says, but he knew that I would use a lot. And so, yeah, and yeah, and so it's like, or it like dings me, it's like, congratulations, you made your goal, or I happen to have my phone on me. Well, you know, I always have my phone on me because I'm watching your guys' videos. Like, I think I was watching Lisa's video, and I'm watering my yard, and like my phone's ringing, but then my watch is vibrating and ringing, and I look down, and it's like I could answer my watch, and I'm like looking at my phone, I'm looking at my watch, and so I like clicked like answer, and it was my boyfriend that was calling. I'm like, hello? And he's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, oh, am I talking to you on my watch right now? Am I totally like 007 talking to you on my watch right now? And he was like, yeah, I guess so. He says, wow. He goes, I can hear you a lot clearer than when you're on speakerphone on your phone. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I am James Bond. I am total James Bond now. And I found out, so if my phone is nearby, you know, and it's within distance, I can make calls on my freaking watch. Like, I am in the future. Like, total, I am in the future now. We are in the future. Pretty soon we're gonna have like tarot decks that just like, it'll be like Star Trek where you're just like dink, dink, like in the sky, like little projections. Okay, so actually most of the decks that I brought over today, except for the Hermetic Tarot and the Wildwood Tarot, all the rest of these are Oracle. So what I was really feeling for November was the Earthly Souls and Spirits. And let's see if I can pull this out for you guys. And here are the backings, but the backings are all different. The artist, her daughter is a photographer, and her daughter created the images for the backs of these cards. So it was kind of like a mom and daughter collaboration, and I always appreciate when people have good relationships, mom and daughters. I have several other people that I consider my mom, and I have good relationships with them. Okay, so these are the images, and they're so beautiful. This was an Etsy purchase. It's so witchy, it's so fall to me. I actually didn't bust this out for October. Like, it didn't really feel October-y, but it does feel like, I don't know, November, December, maybe even January, like much colder, I would say. And it has been getting colder here. As you guys can see, I'm like in a long sleeve. It's been getting so cold. It's been like 76 degrees during the day. I'm like, yeah, all the little black cats in the pictures are pretty awesome. I know other people that are like where it's actually cold have no sympathy for me. They're like, you can just pack up your little violin and leave. Oh, it's called Earthly Souls and Spirits, and it is by Terry Foss, and you can find her on Etsy. This one is freaking awesome. Actually, as I'm looking in the giant moons and a lot of these pictures, I don't know about you guys, but even though the moon, I think, is in its like waning gibbous phase or whatever, that's 30s and 40s where you live, like, oh, so cold. The moon, as it comes up, is massive. I don't know if I've ever seen the moon that big. Like, it looks like it's as big as my house when it comes up over the hills, and it's so yellow, and sometimes it's really red, and I'm like, oh my God, like, what's in the sky? And then we realize it's the moon. I'm like, that's a freaking moon? I'm like, how close are we to the moon right now? Like, Yeah, the moon's been like crazy huge lately. I don't know, maybe it's, I don't know why it's that big. Mystical Cottage, what's up? You know what's weird is I get cold really easily, but I love to go snowboarding in the mountains. Like, I love to go to Mammoth where it'll be like 10 degrees outside, and I love to go snowboarding, you know, because I'm all like bundled up, and then you get to like defrost and hang out by the fire afterwards. Maybe that's why I kind of like Mammoth. But like on a regular day basis, like if it's below 80, I'm way too cold. I am a tropical people. Oh, you did? I'm so glad you liked your goodies. Yeah, if you guys don't know, I was able to sell a few of my decks. I did like a decks for trade or sale video, and I think I need to go through my decks again because I think there's a couple other decks I either want to like trade or sell or whatever. But yeah, I've been doing like this huge like kind of purging thingy. Okay, next by Denise Lynn, the Native Spirit Oracle. I've been noticing that people have been making videos about like doing little baskets and putting decks in there that they don't normally work with, just to get yourself to work with them. Avalon! What's up? I was thinking of doing that because, okay, I'm like a neat freak and everything needs to be like in its place and perfect. And so in my altar space, I have like all my decks, you know, arranged really, you know, nice, and they're all put in there, you know, just so. But it's a big like shelf, and so there's some decks that are in the back and I forget that they're there. But I don't want my decks laying out all over the place either because I don't, I hate clutter. Which is interesting because my boyfriend's a big clutter person. Hey! But I was thinking of doing that. I do have a little basket under the house in our quote-unquote crawl space that's like 9 feet high. And I was thinking of like maybe putting some of those decks that are in the back in that shelf and bringing them out so that I show them some love, because to me my decks are like little, they're people too. And it's like, you know, sometimes to me they all have energy. They're like friends, and each one of them gives you yeah, clutter. I'm like, and I tell my boyfriend every time, you know, because I will detail this house and I will make it sparkle, and I'm like, don't you just feel so much better? Don't you feel better when your hand's like on a nice vacuum drug? And I'm like, doesn't it feel nice? And he's like, no. I'm like, okay, well, it feels good for me. Like, I feel like my head is clearer. I feel like the energy is clearer. And he's like, okay, good for you. I'm like, the hamper's right there. Why are your socks on the floor? So anyway, off track. Yeah, I'm kind of done with deck buying for a little while. I'm more in the purging phase, so that I can love the decks that I have. So let me pull these out. These are the backs. Ooh, Kajal Moon is here. What's up? Yes. Down with clutter. Let's see, get the glare out of there. Yeah, I think I should put some of mine, because I have a pretty big stack. I think I have like 12 or 13 decks plus a few books that I would like to go to another home. So yeah, I'm probably gonna put that on like one of my Facebook, well, I'm in a couple of like trade sell type Facebook groups, you know, for decks, so we'll be doing that. Yeah, I really don't, I even do that with jewelry. Like sometimes, oh yeah, the Native Spirit is just the bomb diggity. You know, if I feel like I look around my room or my closet and there's like something I haven't worn in a while, or like a necklace I'm just not wearing, no matter how pretty it is, I'm like, nope, it's gotta go. So sometimes I just give it to my best friend. Like I'll all she does is like get stuff from me. Like her room's probably just turning into my room, but you know, or I redo things like let's say I have a necklace, I might take it off its chain and I might like redo something with the stone or something just to make it new, and I turn it into something else, or maybe I might turn it into a keychain and I put it on a purse or something, and I'll give it to somebody for Christmas. Yeah. So yes, I am also watching the dollars lately because I know that we're getting close to Christmas time, and I've already spent a ton on my boyfriend and I's like, you know, anniversary, because we had our 11-year anniversary. Today is 11/11. And yeah, so I gotta save the dollars a little bit for Christmas. I love making stuff for Christmas, so I usually make a lot of food, and I make a lot of jewelry. I do a lot of sprays and things like that. So but you know, I gotta buy the supplies for that kind of stuff. Oh, and I also make, this year I want to try to make some candles, because I do make chapsticks. I make like the solid perfumes. I've made salves for like dry hands. Oh yes, white buffalo. Yeah, I love when I get to be super crafty during Christmas time. Just little gifts for people. We have a really nice neighborhood, you know. I dig our neighbors, you know, all around us, so I usually make them a little something something. I get them Christmas cards, and I mean, our Christmas card's always one of those photography Christmas cards, you know, 'cause I'm a photographer. So I take a picture of, it would be me, my boyfriend, and Wally's actually in his little tent right behind the camera. And we turn it into a really nice card. We send all those cards out. So everybody always looks forward to their Wally cards. So yeah, those are the cards that we give our neighbors. Okay. This one I haven't worked with in a while, and I do plan on working it. So if I bring that basket up from under the house, this will be going in it. But it is the Astrological Oracle. And I love the Art Nouveau type artwork. That is totally my jam. Okay. And this, here we go. Here are the backs of the cards. Oops. And Mars wanted to jump out and say hello. Yeah, I'm really into these images. I have been studying astrology a lot more, so at least I understand it a bit more now. Yeah, it is time that this deck gets a little bit more love. And I bought this second hand too, and it's in perfect condition. Sweet. Whoa. Yeah, it's good. Gosh, who did I get this from? I did a trade with somebody, and this was the deck that I got in the trade. Gosh, I feel bad. I don't remember her name. I know it'll come to me later. It's like I get whatever, brain blank sometimes when I'm doing a live chat. I do that sometimes when I'm teaching too. I'll be in the front of the class, and oh, thank you, Avalon, for stopping by. Have fun on your flight and safe travels. So yeah, sometimes I'll be like in the middle of class and I'm like, yeah, I'm on this like really good ramble with the students, and I'm like, yeah, I think I'm like really killing this lesson, right? Oh, Gwen Yule, hello. I have a lot of vets in the family, and definitely have given them all phone calls. Oh, and these were the last two cards. There you go. But yeah, sometimes I'm just like killing a lesson. I'm like, yeah. And then brain blank. And like I got 38 like teenagers staring at me, and I'm like, okay, well, why don't you guys take out a piece of paper and a pencil, and I'll just get something from my desk. And I'm like trying to figure out what was it I was talking about that I was saying. And then I come back and I just like play it off. It's like, oh yeah, you guys are gonna be doing this. Oh, okay. So putting that one away. And let me check the time again. Oh, Queen Osset. I did not know you were a vet. Well, happy Veterans Day to you. It's 11:07. We are a few minutes away from 11:11. Okay, okay. We're gonna do this. My other deck for November is the Earth Wisdom. And again, like I said, I'm like all forest, earthy, desert, all of that. This is the energy I'm getting for this month. Okay, so that was the backs. And I'm gonna turn these so you guys don't get that glare. Creative Coffee, I thank you so much for stopping by. But all of these have a crystal in them. No problem. I thank you. Thank you for coming by. Yes. This is going to be on Instagram like a lot in the month of November. So yeah, this is just... Okay. So yes, definitely the Earth Wisdom. I'm like trying to speed it up a little because I know it's almost time. It's almost time. Ooh. Okay, it's 11:09. Thank you, Bluebell Faye. Thank you so much for stopping by. Oh, Wally just poked his head out. He thanks you too. Let me know if you get into a vortex or if you actually do just vomit. Yes, at 11:11 we all spin. Stacy DeMarco's Earth Power. This is another one for this month. Like I said, all Earth this month. Okay, we got 1 minute. 1 minute. One day I just want to do like a shuffle of this deck and just like go to one of these places. That would be awesome. I mean, after I go to the places that I want to go to, like I want to go to the UK. I want to go to the Philippines to go see like relatives and all of that. I want to go back to Italy someday. It was so beautiful. I want to go to France. Yeah, this just brings out the wanderlust in me. Okay, what time is it? Oh, it's still 11:10. Still 11:10. Okay, at 11:11, we're gonna do this. We are gonna do a quick like little meditation, and I'm gonna pull off of this. Oh, you guys are going to... Oh, I'm so jelly. Italy is so awesome. Thank you, Lisa, for stopping by. Okay, it is... Oops, I don't know if you guys can see. It is 11:11. Okay. I have my Chrysocolla. I'm gonna see what we're gonna get off of it. It is November 11th, and the time is 11:11 a.m. I don't know about you guys, well, I'm like, you know, trying to connect to this Chrysocolla. It's coming through like music, like lyrics. Like it's all these different pieces of songs, and it's saying like, sing me a song down the golden path. the blue rays shine before you. Daybreak, the dawn. All that is gold is never gone. Bluebird above you. Feathers raining on you. And then I see Dorothy clicking her ruby red slippers. No place like home. And then I'm seeing but many layers of home. And then I'm seeing one of those cheesy postcards of, like, you know, the footprints in the sand, you know. I think it's a religious postcard where they say, you know, you weren't the only one. It's when I carried you. And I don't know why, but then Blink 182 popped in. It says, all the small things true care, truth brings. You will reach your 10 of cups happily ever after. And as it exits, it's like Galinda, you know, the good witch from Wizard of Oz, is like, just like came in, it's like ding, like, wow, I have no idea what that message was, but it was interesting. It was definitely a lot of different songs and that was a lot of imagery. So yeah, I don't know, but I'll go ahead and take it. And I guess that was for all of us. And that's what I got off my Arizona chrysocolla. That was really, really interesting. All right, so that was our 11/11 on 11/11. So yeah, and the rock that I got for my 11-year anniversary. So yeah. All right, well, there you go, you guys. I'll just get through like a few more of the decks that I wanted to show you. That was so cook. Or so cool. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and then I will, let's see how many people are in the room. It says there's only 6 people. So after I get through the decks here, I can do a 1-card reading for everybody. So let's dig through these. Okay, next one by Barbara Michael John Free is the Sacred Sites Oracle. Like I said, I'm into like all earthy, all everything right now. Put that over there. Okay, so here are the backs of those cards. And I haven't busted this out a lot, but you know, this was like a deck I was like crazy working with before. And so I need to put this by my bed so that I could work with it again. But yeah, I love all the imagery in there. Oh, it's my homie. My homie that's been coming up a lot. Yes. Ganesha, you my home dog or home elephant. It does have beautiful imagery, and at first actually it really was hard to connect with, but I stopped trying to be like, well, what is this place and what does this place symbolize, and more I was going off of the energy that is coming off the card, more of like the symbolism that's coming off the card, rather than, you know, like, where is this place and what does it mean? Although I do like, you know, reading about it. Ancient Allens. Oh, and this is a place my boyfriend has gone, Mount Fuji, when he was in Japan. Yeah, usually I will keep the decks that I'm not resonating with like off to the side. And then just like clothes and jewelry, you know, and if after like a month I go back to them, I'm like, yeah, I miss you. And if I don't, then I'm like, we had some good times. We was homies for a certain time, but it's time for you to move on. Let's have several layers of places on the cards. Like this one is Frog Mountain. It has different symbolism. So here you have like the salmon, and here you have like the little Native American baby, and here you or the little papoose, and here you have like the teepees. You got the white wolf. This particular mountain would mean something, you know. So everything in here means something, even this little like cross. And so when you look in the guidebook, it tells you what each of those things means. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so it's yeah, directional, and then you got this little arrow here that'll also tell you something. So I mean, you could do it that way, but I mostly just go off of like what's on the image and like what am I getting intuitively. Although every once in a while I do like to bust out the book and be like, what am I missing? What am I missing? Okay, so let's put that one away. And oh, I haven't pulled out my own oracle in a while. So okay, so this was like a creative project day, and I keep it in this little box, which is from my auntie who passed away. So it's like a little jewelry box, but I keep the oracle in here. And the name of my oracle, Donna di Spirizzoni. And I took well, I made a DIY video probably like a year ago on this, but I took like 3x5 cards, or giant, well, I guess they're more like 4x6 cards, and I cut them so that they're more square, and then I painted each and every one of the backs, so they're all just a little different because I painted all of them. And then I took pictures from magazines that I was really drawn to, and I put them on all these cards, and then I got them laminated at Staples. So yeah, I need to work with this deck more, since it's like my deck. Let me just pull all the cards out. And I love those fun like weekend projects. So this is like inspirational woman is the translation. Excuse me. Okay. So here are the images that I took out of some magazines for this. And I forget how fun my own deck is. Like, you know, I want to bust it out more often. Obviously very slippery because they are laminated, but I love that one. So yeah, I mean, you guys could, has anybody in here actually, you know, done like, had a little craft day and like made your own tarot or oracle decks? Because I think it's a lot of fun. Like I spent, yeah, I think the whole weekend making it, and I had these like, the backs of all the cards were like, oh, you're doing your own deck too. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I had all the decks or the backs like drying out in the garage. My boyfriend's like, what the heck are these little squares of paper? And I'm like, that's my deck. Like, don't touch it. Sometimes creating your own deck is slow going. This one, you know, because I didn't have much patience, I just used images from magazines. However, it is my goal to actually like really make my own deck. I don't think I would do a tarot deck. I think I would do more of an oracle deck, just because of how my intuition works. I think that would be a lot of fun, and I want to put my photography skills to use. I thought of doing, you know, the imagery of San Diego, like almost like a San Diego deck, because there are so many beautiful places in San Diego. Trust me, I'm like a perfectionist too, so which is why it's barely even got off the ground. You know, so I was like, I could do that deck, but then I also want to do like a Wally deck, because I actually make a Wally calendar, like Wally Walito. I make a little calendar of him for Christmas for a lot of our close friends and family, and I do Photoshop where I take images of him and I put him against a green screen, I cut him out, and then I like find some like stock images on the internet to kind of make the backgrounds, and then that's how I make my monthly calendars or 12-month calendars for people for Christmas. But I'm like, I could do that for cards. So yeah, I would have to change the background, because most of the background would be him in the house, because I mean he's allowed out on his harness, you know, in our backyard and our front yard, but the background would get pretty boring, you know, if somebody had an oracle deck like that. So I'm thinking I would have to Photoshop him out and put him in different places. I don't know, thinking about it. Oh, the other one, I don't know if other people work with this one a lot too, but it's Ted Andrews' Nature Speak Oracle. Like, I don't know why. A lot of people hate the borders, and I understand that, but for some reason, this is like, the images feel like I have been there. But here are the backs of the cards. Here are the cards themselves. And so the pictures, people around the world do this. Oh my gosh, Amber. That is such a cool idea. Oh, that is so cool. I mean, because, you know, most of my, you know, my friends on here, you guys are like from all over the world. You're from like New Zealand and Scotland and Ireland and England. And I think there's somebody that's on here that's from Bolivia, I think. And yeah, Wally could totally visit Edinburgh Castle. Oh my God. Amber, you have just gotten my creative juices, like, put them in overdrive right now. I'm like so excited. Like, oh my gosh. No, seriously, I think Amber's onto something. Like, we could do this. Okay. I'm gonna get a pen and paper from over there, because I need to write this down, because I really truly think that you have like totally just blown my inspiration like through the roof. Like, it's so awesome. Give me a second. Okay. Okay, so I got something to write with. Okay, we are going to do Wally Around the World. Wally, please do not kill the comforter. He doesn't like reflections. Yeah, I'm sure. Let me see. Wally photoshopped around the world. You know, and then gosh, you know, and then we'd obviously do a big thank you to everybody who like submitted a picture. Oh, Oracle deck. How fun of an Oracle deck would that be? Oh my gosh. You know, and then and I'm trying to think, like, you know, intuitively, how would people, you know, connect to those images, you know, because every site, you know, that everybody's from has a certain energy. You know, put little Wally Walito, our little like spiritual adventurer, in there. That would be so cool. All right, I have it written down. I would have to say, Houston, this is a go, this is a go. Oh, Wally? Hold on. Wayward Sen. Ooh. Excuse me, Wally. I know, I know. Oh, this is Wally. Oh. Show off the pink tummy. Pink tummy. Oh yeah. So I am so excited. Ah. Yeah, so that is little Wally Wallito, and he is purring right now, and this is his little tail. Okay. This is gonna be a thing. I don't know when it's gonna be a thing, but I really want to do this. He's chasing reflections. You know, as you guys can see, there's like reflections everywhere. He hates reflections. He'll like go flying at a wall. He's like splat. He just looks like Garfield, like psh, against the wall. Oh, anyway, so I was showing you guys the nature speak, and I was saying that the images look really 70s to me for some reason, but I feel like I'm in the images, even though it's like just this and there's like a whole lot of border here. Like I feel like for some reason, like I feel like it's home, like I've been there, like that's where I'm from. Yeah, the energy is like, it's familiar to me, it's comforting, it's home, it's like you've been here before. And sometimes I feel like there's a longing when I use this deck. Like I want to be back home. I don't even know if that makes sense, but it's like I want to be there and I don't want to be here. I don't want to say that in like a depressing way, like I don't want to be here. No, I want to be here. But more like it just seems like that's my home. I don't know. Maybe it's the coloring. I'm not quite sure. But yeah. Hey, Wally. Don't kill the cards. So yeah, this is pretty fun to work with. Okay, Wally, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. What do you think? You just gonna keep stepping on me? Ugh. Wally, what did your dad get all over the carpet? That's so disgusting. Let's do the last one. Last one for today. Ugh. Our little Wallito's father got something all over the carpet. My boyfriend got some like greasy like hair gel or something when he unpacked from our Arizona trip. He unpacked and just left everything next to me on the bed, or I mean on the floor at the bed, and whatever he had packed in a Ziploc leaked, and now it's all over my carpet. We're gonna deal with that later. I'll be dealing with him later. Okay, so, and now it's all over my hands. This is so disgusting. I'm like, try to get it off. Okay. Wally, will you stop trying to attack reflections? Is my Native American playing cards that I got from Arizona, and I did a review of these, and they're awesome sauce. I love them. Let me just put these two cards back. Ah. Okay. And so here are the backs of the cards, and this is done by a photographer, Edward Curtis. And I love that there's, you know, a different image on every card, which I love. And I love working with playing cards sometimes and using them kind of like a mixture as in like an oracle / tarot deck. Sometimes I can use them like Lenormand, you know, pull out the Lenormand cards, but yeah, more likely I'll use them as like hints of tarot with a mixture of like oracle. And I have been doing more of a in-depth like ancestry, going back in my ancestry. There is a particular picture from my great-great-grandfather, Chief Seattle. Let me see. Anyway, my great-great-grandfather is in his like ceremonial Native American outfit. have just Bold Chief, Chief Joseph. Ooh, Chief Joseph. Heck yeah. Nez Perce Tribe. There's Chief Garfield from the Hikaria. Let's see. Nope, there is not. Here's the last of some of them. But yeah, we're just trying to figure out like what tribe they're from in our family. I'm pretty sure it's Tohono O'odham, which kind of is where they all resided, which was northern Sonora, Mexico, southern Arizona. And that's where the reservation is now. It's split by the U.S.-Mexican border, split in half. And I love that one. That one's awesome. So yeah, okay. I'm going to grab one of these decks, and if you guys would like me to do a one card draw, Wally, please, do you mind? Then just put so just put like what, if you have a particular question or if you just want me to do a general reading, then yeah, just put that in the comments now. And let's see, what deck are we going to use? We are going to use Wally, shall we use the Earth Power? We're going to use the Earth Power. That's what I'm feeling like. Okay, so yes, so go ahead. So if you would like me to pull a one card reading, do a one card reading for you. Okay, so it looks like people are putting in now, mostly general readings. Okay, so the first person will be Kajal Moon. So general reading. All right. Hold on, I have to do this kind of in where the light's not going to reflect on my cards because Wally's going nuts. Okay. We have Tanalat for Kajal Moon. The places in between are important for my growth. I can release myself from worry and suffering if I choose. I now let go of all that no longer serves me. Okay, so what I'm getting from that card is there may be some things that are going on where you're like, like this is just deterring me or preventing me from like going where I need to go or to finishing this task. Like it's just in the way. However, it's the things that are getting in the way that are going to help you achieve that goal. Like it sounds counterintuitive where you know, it seems like more of a block, but that block is more like a door if you want to think of it that way. So I don't know if that makes much sense, but yeah, there's something that you're trying to achieve or you're trying to just get done, and it seems like that, you know, there's all these blocks in the way and it's just making it take longer and you just want to get it finished, but really those blocks are there for a purpose because they're meaning to teach you something so that you can get to the other side, and it's going to be amazing when it's all finished, you know, or when you do get there. So instead of thinking of the blocks as like walls, I just see them more as these doors that are opening for you. So once you have like found the key, the door will open and you'll be able to go through. So instead of it just being a wall that you have to scale, you just need to find the key. So yeah, let me know if that resonates with you. Okay, let's see, who else? I'm gonna go back through here. Next was Amber. All right, Amber. Okay, Amber is next. Give these a little shuffle. I'm glad that resonates. Okay. Amber, I don't know why, but I was like just picturing you in like a blue hat. Okay. Oh, and you have a very bluish card, so that makes sense. Magnetic South Pole. Okay, it says, it is acceptable not to know. Mystery is part of life. Acceptance allows me to begin to grow. Okay. What'd you say? As blue at the moment as my niece recently. Oh, had a baby boy. That's awesome. Okay, so I know that you had just said in the comments that, you know, like when we were talking about making oracle decks, and you said that you're making one, but it's been taking so long because everything needs to be perfect. You know, that you said that you're a perfectionist. But I think maybe you might want to tap into maybe the side of one of your children, more of a wild side, more of a, I'll figure it out when I get there. You know, because I think as we get older, you know, we get more solidified in our ways. Like for me, you know, everything has to be in its place. You know, I need to know all the details of something before I want to jump in. It's kind of like when I'm buying decks. I want to know everything about that deck before I buy that deck. Although there's some people that just love to look at half the cards and then they're like, oh, you know, and then I'll just, you know, it'll be like a gift or a present or a mystery or a surprise when I receive the rest of it. And that's like not my personality. That's not me. However, I think that, you know, myself being a lot like you, we have to have more of that reckless innocence. So then, yeah, try to see if you can just every once in a while, when you find yourself nitpicking and hesitating to take that fool's leap, be like, what would my son do? You know, well, it would be WWSD. What would my son do? Yeah, but I think that you would find a little bit more joy and get a little bit more enjoyment, and actually find things out about yourself that you didn't know were there. If you could have that a little bit more of that, just a little bit of a reckless abandon. So, Amber, that's what I'm getting for you. Okay, let me scroll back through our comments here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. New Age Lunatic. It's a general. Okay. All right, New Age Lunatic. Let me just go back down here. Okay, New Age Lunatic. WWMSD, my son. You can't even make a bracelet like that. Okay, New Age Lunatic. So, okay, I have to mention that before I do readings for you guys, I always get an image, you know, so I saw Amber with the blue hat. New Age Lunatic, I saw a white rabbit. I don't know. So I'm just saying that's the image that came up for me when I was thinking of you. Okay. So we have Gobekli Tepe for New Age Lunatic. Connecting with my higher power is a timeless act. It is within my DNA. It is a natural and useful part of my life. Okay, so for this card, you know, and I see this like just thing rising up into the heavens. A lot of times, you know, with YouTube and Instagram and all the social media, you know, people that are within like our, you know, our kind of woo-woo spiritual circle, we have this, it's just natural for humans to try to compare themselves to others. And oftentimes, we might be comparing ourselves to somebody else and saying, man, you know, why are they, I want to be there on my spiritual journey. That's so cool that they can do that. I want to do that too. But just know that, you know, when we leave this life of time, Oh, yay! What's up, Stephanie? When we leave this life of time, where time is finite, you know, we have our watches. There's always time. When we leave, there isn't time. You know, time is neither past nor present nor, you know, future. So think of it that way. Cosmic Creeper, what's up? That you don't need to know everything right now. You don't have to be able to do everything right now. You don't have to be able to be like a medium right now. You don't have to be able to see auras and understand all the chakras and know everything about astrology like right now. It's an ongoing process. You know, think of your, not your body, but more of your soul being more fluid. Like, I'll know what I need to know right now, you know, and that's all I need to know. You know, and that doesn't mean to stop working on things. Like, keep working on things, and as things come to you, it's because it was meant to come to you at that time. Like things that you learn or abilities you learn about yourself, you know, and that's just how it is. It's just an ongoing thing, and that'll be until the day that we exit these bodies. And you know, and for me, I believe in reincarnation, so I'm just gonna believe I'm gonna jump into a new body and just kind of continue the process. It'll just be like I'm just wearing out a pair of shoes. You know, it doesn't mean I stop walking to that destination. It just means I need a new pair of shoes. So that's kind of like how I see our bodies. You know, my learning process is going to keep going. You know, there isn't a I need to know this by this time. So I don't know if that resonates with you, but that's kind of what I'm getting. Okay, let me scroll back through our comments at next was Mystical Cottage and Tarot. Okay, Mystical Cottage and Tarot, and just yes, we're just an old pair of shoes. Okay, Mystical Cottage and Tarot. Mystical Cottage and Tarot. Here we go. Huh. I like this one. My backyard. Lies down the side. Used to keep rabbits. Oh my gosh. See, that's so fascinating to me. Like, that is so validating to me that, you know, I don't just have like random crazy images like popping up in my head. I'm like, it's because of something. So, wow. Okay, that's fantastic. I'm glad that really like resonates. Okay, Mystical Cottage. You got my backyard. My backyard's lovely, by the way. No, it says, home is where I make it. I can find sanctuary every day. So what I was getting is, I see somebody like trying to figure out like, oh, I need to have this sacred space. Oh, and I need to, you know, I saw something on Instagram or Pinterest where they had like all these like satiny pillows and curtains, and you know, I want it to be like that. And trust me, like I would love to have a sacred space like that. You know, and you know, and it's just a place of calm, and it's like I can't be as into my spiritual practice as I want to be, you know, until I have this like space. And your space is wherever you are. And that reminds me of what my boyfriend said this morning. He says, I'm gonna be where I'm at. It's just like a little joke that we have between each other, but it's like, but that's true. I'm gonna be where I'm at, you know? You know, if I, you know, wanted to do a meditation right now, I mean, I'm sitting at the foot of my bed, and you know, there's a litter box like over here. I got Wally over here. There's like a pile of clothes over there, but that's fine. You know, if I'm in meditation, that stuff doesn't matter. You know, I am where I'm at, you know, and it'll just have to do. So I don't know if that's something that you're struggling with lately, is to find that space. But yeah, I'm gonna be where I'm at. And where you at is home. You know, home is wherever you are. So whether you're in line at the grocery store and you're just like, gotta take a 1-minute breather, that's where you're at. And that's your sacred space for that moment. So hopefully that resonates and helps. Okay, I'm gonna scroll through again. And next we have And I know you guys can see my finger. I'm so sorry. Queen Osset. Okay. Okay, Queen Osset. Queen Osset. Queen Osset, I know you said you were a vet, so for some reason I was like thinking like Humvees for life, baby. I don't know. That just kind of popped in my head. Okay. Okay, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce the names of these places, but it says Palenque or Palenque. That's beautiful. It says, I have a personal relationship with my patron guides. I am the result of love throughout the ages. I am awakened to my own value and purpose. So kind of what what I'm getting for that one. Oh, this one's like kind of deep. Like first, there's like two parts to this one. First, it was seeming like, you know, struggling to find, like, is it like who should I be working with right now, or what should I be working with right now, you know, in terms of your spiritual practice. Like it seems like everybody's working with, you know, Isis lately, or everybody's working with, you know, somebody else from the Egyptian pantheon, or somebody's working with somebody from Greek mythology. You know, it's like who should I be working with? I mean, I think there are some, I don't want to say defaults, but there are some deities or guides that maybe aren't well known, or maybe they're not even like, you know, in the great pantheons of the ages, but they're from you, and that's okay, you know. That doesn't make them less important or not as cool because not everybody's working with them. They're yours, and that's all that matters. You know, if I wanted to work with the energy of Hello Kitty, and I'm not trying to make a joke of deity, like I say, everything has energy, you know. And even Hello Kitty, even though it's a brand, it's a thing that's cranked out, you know, by Sanrio to make money, I don't care about that. I care about the energy that comes from the image of Hello Kitty, that there's so many kids around the world that love that image. There's so many adult women and men that love the image of Hello Kitty, and that I feel happy when it's around, you know, the stuffed animal or the image of it, and that's okay. And maybe that's an energy that I like to work with. Like, I don't care that it's a Sanrio product, you know, it's an image that I like working with. So same for you. Like, it doesn't matter what it is that you're working with. If it works for you, it's okay, and you do you. That's kind of what I'm getting for that. And so I think you might have been looking for like a particular thing to work with to find your direction, although you're already on your direction, and I think you know it too. You're just like, can it be that simple? You know, is it that easy? Yes, it is. You know, it's not meant to be super hard. You know, I mean, sometimes it's obstacles while we're on our path, but it's not meant to be like hard for us to figure out. Like, we just kind of fall into it, you know. So, okay, hopefully that resonates with you. Oh, wow. Yeah, so yeah, it's, you know, and your ancestors, I mean, we don't know your ancestors, but that's okay, you know. They're helping you, and it's not, nothing, none of this is meant to be super hard. Like, you're gonna be guided, we'll fall into it, it's okay. No need to rush. Okay, I'm gonna look back through here and make sure you guys can't see my finger. Oh, Wayward Sun. Wayward Sun. All right. Wayward Sun. Wayward Sun. Okay, so Wayward Sun, you are next. I think that one wanted to come out, but let's see. Okay, yeah. This is the one. The name's Mount. Mount Mount Emei. I seek enlightenment. I am calmly above it all. The tangible and intangible meet within me. Oh my gosh. Okay, so right away I was seeing like conflict. And more, instead of like getting sucked into the conflict as we do as human beings, like we're all into drama. Like if we weren't into drama, reality TV shows of those people that are just train wrecks wouldn't be so fascinating to us. Like that's just our human nature. So sometimes it's really easy to get sucked into other people's conflicts, because then it's like, you know, you're listening to, well, then what did he say? And then what did she say? You know, and I think to just be more aware when that happens. Yes, Queen Osset, it is not that deep. Although it's like sometimes I think I'm talking out of my butt, because it's like, you know, what do I really know? It's more just I'm just saying what they're saying. Me personally, I wish I knew all that. So, you know, when we're in the middle of like a conflict and we want the juicy gossip and things like that, just know when you're in the middle of that and you're like, whoa, like, what am I doing and how is this helping me at all? Okay, maybe it's giving me some entertainment and it's pretty awesome, but more, what can I learn from these people's conflicts? What can I learn from their situation, and why am I witnessing it? There's a reason why I'm witnessing this conflict. It's related to me somehow. It's helping me somehow. So remove yourself from the conflict. Okay, now why am I being presented this conflict? What is it that they're not seeing? And maybe it's something that I don't see in my personal life. What is it, something that they're working on that maybe it's something that I should be working on? And from there, we learn more from others. Yeah, we learn from others' conflict. So that's what I'm getting from here. So don't get sucked into the drama, as juicy and as fun as it may be. You know, it's okay to watch, but then also try to learn something from it too, you know, instead of just being, you know, oblivious observer. Just, okay, that's a train wreck, but why am I watching this train wreck? What does that mean for me? You know? Okay. Let's see. I think that was everybody, unless, Cosmic Creeper or my friend Stephanie would like a reading. So otherwise, I think we be done. And I thank you so much for coming out today. I've had such a fun chat, and I can't believe we've been on 112 minutes. Good God. The Bachelor. Even in a TV show, yeah. Why am I watching The Bachelor? Although I love Tosh. Dude, I used to be so into The Bachelor. Okay, sure, Cosmic Creeper. Oh, and Stephanie. All right, so you guys will be my last two, and then I guess we'll piece it out. Oh, okay, so Stephanie, we'll do your specific one last. So Cosmic Creepers first. Oh, Evelyn, what's up? Cosmic Creeper, look who's here. One purry puma. Wally, do you want to say anything to your girlfriend Zuri? Wally says that Zuri needs to come visit the United States. Wally, Evelyn says hello. He's gonna wash his pink tummy. Okay, Cosmic Creeper. Okay, Cosmic Creeper. Yeah, I got the same card for you as I got for somebody else, but for you, I think it means something different. For them, it was more their sacred space. For you, I don't know. I don't know if they just aired this show. It was a cartoon on MTV, which is music television, and I don't know if this was aired in the UK. But do you remember the TV show Daria? You're most welcome, Stephanie. I will get to you. But Daria was this TV show. She had like, so, okay. So when this card came up, I was seeing you as Daria, like talking like Daria and like yelling at your legs, like, OMG, like why? Like why? You know, and I know that you have your health problems that you've been going through, and it just seems like, you know, it won't let up. You know, so you're pretty much homebound. But home, what I'm getting, home is where you're supposed to be right now. So although, you know, and I don't want to say, because it sounds so trite, like everything happens for a reason. I know people don't like hearing that stuff. I don't like hearing that stuff. But while you're at home, dealing with what you're dealing with that aside, which I know is hard to put that aside because I know that you're in a lot of chronic pain. Well, there are some things, you know, that you can now, you have the time to work on yourself, and you have the time to realize now that you have that quiet time at home with your beautiful Zuri, and, you know, your partner, and, you know, that's this time where you get to work on yourself. You really get to work on your spiritual practice. You get to work on your cards. You get to find out things that you didn't know about yourself, or things that you may not like about yourself, but now you get to work on it, because now you have that time. Whereas if you were outside frolicking, running all about like I know that you want to, you would be distracted from the things that you need to learn right now. So again, I'm not trying to sound trite or doing the everything happens for a reason, because that's like, let's not get into that. But I hope that resonates for you. You know, now you have the time to really work on yourself. You know, all your medical stuff aside, now is the time for you and Zuri and your guy. And yeah, so my backyard is your card. All right. And then I think, Stephanie, you had a particular question. Sorry, accepts. Arise for me, and I want more information about him. Okay. So Stephanie, you are absolutely welcome. See, but now you have the time to do so, whereas if we're out and about, we'd probably put it off, you know? Okay. Stephanie. Okay, so Stephanie, you said that you believe there's a gentleman on his way. You can feel the energy of this person, but you just want to know more information about him. So obviously I probably can't give you like specific times when you're gonna like walk into this person, or you need to meet him at the Quickie Mart at 2 p.m. next Sunday. Obviously I can't do that, but just maybe some information, so maybe you can yeah, okay, so just more info. Okay, more info about this. Yeah. Actually, let's see if I can tap into his energy. Okay, I'm gonna still pull a card, Stephanie, but have you ever watched The Simpsons? Do you know the cartoon or the character on The Simpsons? He's the next door neighbor. His name is Flanders. He's like the uber Christian guy, and he's got like the mustache. I'm not saying that your guy is like uber Christian, but I'm like, I don't know, I'm seeing like the really like squeaky clean mustache guy, like his presence just being like really squeaky squeaky clean. Okay. Okay, so we got the Tarkany. Growth is good, but I acknowledge it can sometimes be painful. I accept my own wild soul. I can be alone and connected. Oh my gosh, that's kind of like what you just said, although not like maybe spiritually speaking, but you said you can feel this person's energy. So although you're not physically with this person, you can feel their energy. And then it says you accept your own wild soul. So, okay, so what I'm getting from this guy, and I have no idea if he has a mustache, I'm just saying I had the image of Flanders from The Simpsons. It seems like this person is really reserved on the outside, because he has to be. It could be upbringing, it could be the community that he's in, or maybe in even his own family, that he has to appear this squeaky clean, reserved person. But on the inside, he's got a wild streak, and he would love nothing more than to just not have to worry about appearances so much. So I'm seeing this guy as like, on the inside, he'd love to go on roller coasters. He'd love to just go on a ghost hunt. He would love to go on a road trip and not know where you're going. You know, he wants to kind of break free from this mold of like, you kind of do what you're told, you know, and you look a certain way. So yeah, this person seems like he has a bit of a wild streak inside of him, and he's kind of looking for somebody to help bring that out of him. Yeah, so he might be expected to find a girl that is just like him, but I don't think that's what he really wants. Yeah, he's looking for a wild child, but not too wild. You know, somebody would still be accepted. You know, so yeah, let's see if I get anything else from him. Since I'm also very musical, there's a song that I'm getting that's from the 60s. And it's like talking about my Little Red Rambler or whatever. It says, you know, okay, so I don't know if you're familiar with this song, but it's an oldies song. My dad loves the oldies, so I used to hear this song a lot. But from what I'm getting from this guy's energy is, you know, he has to be the Cadillac in the song. It says, I'll show them that a Cadillac is not a car to scorn. Beep, 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 beep. His car went beep, beep, beep. and there's like a Little Red Rambler that is like racing along this Cadillac that's sluggishly, like, you know, moving, and it seems like he feels like the Cadillac, you know, and that he's you know, trying to move. Gosh, what's the name of that song? Well, at the end of the song, you know, it seems like they're racing down the road, the Little Red Rambler and the Cadillac, and they're racing head to head, and you know, and it says, and it's like beep beep, and it's like the music speeds up. He's like beep 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 beep. His car went beep beep beep. He says, and then he rolled down his like his window or something like that, and the Little Red Rambler says, how do you get out of second gear? Here this Cadillac's got it floored in this like little hot rods, barely in second gear. But I'm feeling like that's what this guy feels like. Like, he doesn't want to be the Cadillac. He wants to be the Little Red Rambler. I don't know. So you might want to just Google oldies, Cadillac, Red Rambler, and part of the lyrics, you know, beep, 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 beep. His car went beep, beep, beep. Nash Rambler, there we go. Thank you so much. Sometimes my brain goes funky. It's been a while since I heard that song. But yeah, when I used to live with my parents, like all I heard was like the oldies day in and day out. Okay, let me scroll through here again. Preston Justin, what messages do my spirit guides have for me in terms of love and well-being? By the Playmates. There you go. Thank you, Allie. Okay, so this next one is for Preston Justin, talking about love and well-being. Okay, I have pulled this card for somebody else earlier, but like I said, sometimes it just means something differently to other people. So is the Gobekli Tepe. Is this connecting with my higher power? Is a timeless act. It is within my DNA. It is a natural and useful part of my life. So what I'm getting for you, and again, I'm not trying to sound trite or anything, but a lot of our answers are in us, and when things are meant to happen for us, they'll happen. And as far as like, let's say, and gosh, I know that sounds very general, but for well-being, like I wouldn't say, you know, like, oh, no problem, you're welcome, you're welcome. I wouldn't say like, oh, you know, because I'm never like a doom and gloom kind of person, like, oh, this is gonna happen in the future, because I totally believe that we have power over our destiny. And I mean, there could be possible avenues that I could take, and who knows, if I like went to a psychic, they might tap into one of those avenues, but one of those avenues never really shows up for me because I don't end up taking that course because I have free will. So same for like your well-being and love, you know, since you have will, like free will, and you have the choice to do whatever it is that you want to do, you know, you could fall into all these different slots for love and you know, how your life turns out. And you know, if you go this way, you might run into this person, and if you go this way, you might run into a different person, but they all have lessons that you need. You know, and as far as well-being goes, it's like, you know, really start thinking about, if I look at this card again, what feels right to you where you are. So when you're in a particular job, or you're out someplace, really start to tap into your own sensitivity to things. I'm not saying become, I mean, maybe you are psychic, but more like that clairsentience, those feels, you know, when we get the feels where sometimes you get that gut feeling of like, this doesn't feel right, or this place is creeping me out, or for some reason I just don't like that person, or some reason I really love this person, I don't know why. Really, for your well-being, pay attention to that, because that's like our best barometer that we have for anything. And you know, and that's for everybody. You don't need to be a psychic or anything to have that. That's animals have it too. It's an intuition. And I think for you, it would behoove you to really tap into that more often. And you can do it within your house. Like if you just wanted to practice, like walk into a room. How do I feel when I'm in this room? Do I get goosebumps? Does it feel warm? Start thinking of all the different adjectives you can use to describe that room. Start practicing, because it is a skill, you know, and you can hone that skill to, you know, enhance that sensitivity. And you could have more control over your well-being, I would think, you know, if you could, you know, just tap in a little bit more, practice tapping in a little bit more. So, that's kind of what I'm getting for you for that, and I hope it's resonating. I'm trying to spit it out correctly. Oh, okay. Let me look through. Making sure I'm not missing anyone. Okay. All right. I think that's it. My gosh, I've been on here for like 128 minutes. It is lunchtime, y'all. And it says I'm having a very bad connection, so hopefully it's not getting all messed up. So you're very, very welcome. I'm not missing anybody, right? I don't want people to feel like I've like ditched them or something. Okay. So I've got some good stuff from this live chat, and I'm glad, yes, Cosmic Creeper, I'm glad I got to see all my peeps in here. I did get some good information from Amber. So, Wally, Zuri sends her love. Wally, what do you have to say? Don't hold on to the carpet. Wally, show them all some pink tummy. Okay. So anyway, I thank you all for stopping by on this 11/11, and those of you that did the little short 11 a.m. meditation. Yeah, and Amber, thank you so much for the I really want to do this Wally Oracle, like I really do. No problem. I'm happy to share my stories. And thank you so much everybody who stopped by. Like, it really means a lot to me that I get to connect with you guys and talk like this. This is so cool. It makes those distances not feel so far away. All right, so Wally says goodbye. I say goodbye. Some of you guys, this is near your bedtime, so I hope you guys all have a good night. Some of you, I hope you have a good day. And I hope you have a wonderful Saturday and a wonderful Sunday tomorrow. So, all right, y'all. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out. See you guys.